Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the newest edition of the Making of Tin Can Sailor series. Today I'm here with our DP, Alex.
Hello,
Um,
one and all.
Super exciting, so we're happy to have him on. Alex, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. Hi, I'm Alex. I was the director of photography for Tin Can Sailors. I like working with cameras and lighting, and I was honored to be a part of the Tin Can production. So
Before going into like specific scenes, I just wanted to ask, what was the first thing that went through your mind when I said I want to shoot this on a battleship?
I don't know if you remember the pitches for the thesis projects, but yours was one of the only ones where I like jumped at the opportunity. I said, "Oh my God, we're going to be going somewhere real and like filming something like on location and somewhere really impressive. I have to be a part of this." That the battleship? Are you kidding me? I didn't even know we had that in Florida. But I jumped at the opportunity. I went right over to you and said, "Michaela, you have to let me be a part of this." So right from the get-go, I knew it was going to be something special, and I wanted to be a part of it. So
I do remember when I double checked with you and I was like, just to make sure you're still okay with doing this. And you texted back, "Am I up for it? Was Bill Butler and Steven Spielberg up for sailing the high seas for Jaws? Ready is not even a question. If the camera goes overboard, I know how to swim."
yeah, I mean that's what it felt like. It really felt like we were elevating the scope of our project by such like a wide margin. It's the only one that we did our entire education where we're, driving to another city because the location's so dang good. It really felt like we were stepping on Steven Spielberg's set. We're ready. We're actually getting out there and filming something incredible. So I remember that. I do remember that.
Yeah, Spielberg, that's the goal. That's the So first thing I wanted to talk about was the beach. I talk about this to everyone, but I'm especially interested to hear it from your point of view because the way we filmed it was so we basically hit record and then I was like, what if you stood here? And then what if you stood and then what if you did it? And then you were like, what if I got this angle? And so you got like we both got to be really creative in that like run and gun, like we're just gonna do whatever looks cool. So what was that like for you as a DP?
I loved it. I mean, in my opinion, like out of all of the scenes that we did, that one just like rolled right out. Everyone knew what we were supposed to be doing. We used the Alexa Mini on the Easy Rig, so it allowed us to have that sort of maneuverability. But in terms of like being able to invent it as we go, we got to play around, see, what actually worked. And in that situation, I think we all got to trust our intuition and our gut, and I think that makes some of the most compelling shots um, when you're making a film. I'm really proud of what we hit on the beach, if I'm going to be honest.
So you got to use a lot of equipment. You got to use like a lot of different kinds of cameras and rigs and setups. Can you talk about like what your favorite was, what you were most excited for, what the most challenging one was?
Oh yeah, I mean, part of meeting this project on such a large scale was and like finally having access to all the resources of the college. I was just excited to take all of it out and try everything. So we got a little bit of everything. I mean, we got the Easy Rig, just the normal Dana dolly, the Fisher dolly, the Fisher 11. In particular, maneuvering the Fisher dolly inside the Bidwell house. Yeah, it was a technical challenge that I liked dealing with. Figuring out a way to get that like big chunky dolly to function in such a tight space was a technical challenge I liked as well. The other one I really liked, I loved messing around on the DJI Ronin 4D. We used that for the battleship. It's surprisingly adaptable. We had some really strange shots where we actually managed to get I don't know if you remember that, we actually managed to get the lens out over the water um, and get this like crazy shot. You have a detachable lens, and the actual exposure plate of the camera is detachable from the body. So the camera is supposed to do that. That was me trying to get full utilization of the camera. I felt like we were lacking shots that actually showed the water. If you were to shoot a scene and it was just two close-ups of these two people talking, and that was the scene. No wide, you didn't show the space, you didn't show the whatever. There's a little bit of a disconnect there. I wanted to show the water, the ship, and the actors at the same time. The Tampa Bay is quite windy, actually. The water was moving, so like if you were to look down at that water and see the ship in it, the water's moving, the ship's still. Kind of looks like the ship's moving a little bit. So I wanted to show that just to like tie all these ideas together. The ship is moving, it's an active ship. A guy reading a letter, being mournful on it.
Guy reading a letter sums up the whole movie, I think. So there's like a battle scene on the ship. The way that we shot it was like a one shot. In our shot list, we had close-ups and wide shots, and then on the day we kind of just decided like let's just do it one take. So what was that like for you as a DP taking that on?
That was definitely the hardest shot out of all of them on the ship. There's no questions about it. Trying to boil things down into a one take. Don't advise it. We got the chaos that we wanted for sure. Um, we got the chaos that we wanted. That much is certain. But I liked it because we didn't really have any other sequences like it. I remember that was one that we ended up having to do several times over, just because there are so many elements to it.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, we had a cruise ship in the background, and then we had like warehouses and buildings on the other side, and then we had an aquarium to our left. We had to like shoot around so much stuff while also making it seem like this ship was like the only thing in miles of sea.
I was expecting our biggest challenge on the ship to be logistics, not an issue. Framing on the top deck specifically ended up being our biggest problem. Any way you point the camera, if you see the horizon, you've folded your hand, especially with this large movement of pulling back and then panning and tilting up to someone on an upper deck. If you notice, a lot of the angles that we get when we're on the top deck are low angles. Logistical problem.
A lot of this is to do with the ship, but that's because so much of what
The
was cool
movies,
was
yeah,
on the ship.
exactly.
But there was one shot, it was at the end of the day, everyone was rapping, and we were just like running through the ship with the actors, and it was like the two of us and the two actors. And we were like, I want them walking through this through this hallway. And then all of a sudden this giant cruise ship comes and like gets right in our shot as it's like coming right next to us, which was like the
Yeah, it
worst
was
timing.
perfect. It's just exactly the time we needed to throw us off. And it's not like we had time to spare either.
No, it was the end of our day. It was
Yeah.
the last thing we were doing.
I mean, that was sort of my experience on the ship, like running around from spot to spot. But I spent lunch just running around with the camera, getting shots because it was such a beautiful location. Like how could I not? B-rolls for you. I mean, that's tin can property, but it's it was fun to get. Okay, so don't worry about not using it.
It was cool. I mean, in this video, I'm gonna get to show it off. I'm gonna do like, look at this cool B-roll. So it will see the light of
Oh my
day.
gosh.
I remember sitting in dailies and just getting to the like B-roll section like that you took during lunch. And it was the first time I'd ever seen that because we're watching playback of every other shot on the
Sure.
ship. Yeah, I loved all the B-roll you got. Moving away from the ship.
Sure.
There was one shot. It was one of my favorites was when we were in the bedroom and we did that mirror shot where we like got the mirror in the mirror. One, what was that setup like? And two, was that a challenge for you? Was that something you were excited about? What was that shot like?
I'm always a lover of anything frame within a frame. Um, so mirror shots are great. I love them. Double mirror shot, you don't get to do that every day. It was a challenge in that every time you look into a mirror, you sort of have like two rooms you're worrying about. Now we have three that are extended over an extremely long space. That room was exceptionally difficult to light, actually, because it was so awkward. We didn't really have access to the windows because it was a second floor building. That is essentially two spaces we had to light while trying to like match the lighting. You know, she's over there, now she's over here. So it was a challenging shot for sure. Golly, but the framing was too good to pass up. Like you can't hate on it. You just can't.
I think one of the last things I wanted to ask about was the bridge because I know the bridge ended up causing quite a bit of grief towards the end of our day.
Sure.
I know that you worked a lot with the Genie team on it. So like what was that like?
One of the biggest things was that we could not see these like modern cars driving by the edge of the park that we were at. The other was lighting was another. We ended up having to do something that I've never seen, another Ringling first. Um, Ton ended up using the camera jib to suspend a light above the bridge, which ended up working better than I had anticipated. It kind of melded in with the street lamp kind of looking. And lastly, same as always, it was time. Like this was our last scene. At some point, you gotta get the shot. I remember we ended up taking it off tripod, putting it back on the easy rig, trying to go for the same successes that we got at the beach where we just had this incredible like adaptability. But that was a nerve-wracking end because that's an important scene too, you know, the final reunion. Like
Mm-hmm.
what do you mean we are short of time for the most important scene of the movie? Let's go, you know,
We
let's
gotta
get to
wrap
it.
it up. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, last thing I wanted to ask about was, is there any piece or pieces of advice you have for aspiring cinematographers or DPs?
I'll hammer down on the point that you are in a very like unique position, along with the other department heads, but you especially are the line between the technicians and the creatives. And anyone else who's on that line answers to you. It's your responsibility to take a creative plan and turn it into a logistical one. So get familiar with both sides of that. Don't say no to learning anything because it will make you better and work on as much as you can. I want a platform to express my gratitude for an incredible team that pulled this together. You know, obviously being the creative mind behind it all. To Lorena, great AD, kept us in line. Claire and Juan, great PD team. Ton, my gaffer, and obviously Kai, the one who worked closest with me. Great team.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Alex. That was super cool to get to hear the different perspective. Thank you for watching. This was great. And hopefully we'll be coming at you with more episodes soon. So stay tuned. Thanks so much. Um, See you in the next one.